Another option to work with your multimeter is to remotely control it. Usually you get some software for it which allows you to show the display or user interface of your multimeter or oscilloscope on your PC, which allows you to control it the same way you would when you sit right in front of it, just it can be somewhere else in another room or even outside of the house in case of networking. But this only allows you to do the same functions in the same way that you would do when you are using it directly. But sometimes you want to do more advanced stuff. For that there is the SCPI or SCPI protocol, which allows you to connect to your multimeter from your PC with basically any software understanding that protocol and remotely control it. There is a well-known software called National Instruments LabVIEW, which is widely used, but unfortunately the full version costs quite a lot of money, and it's not as well supported under Linux, I think, as I would like it to have. So what I'm showing here is a software called EEZStudio, which is an open source effort to provide a software that's maybe at one point comparable to LabVIEW and allows you to remotely control your instrument. It comes with a number of predefined command sets, and I went ahead and created command set for the power supply that I'm using, for my DMM shield that I have used with the Arduino, and I also created a command set for my new bench saw power supply. And what we can do is we can now go ahead and say, yeah, connect to my instrument. I will do this via Ethernet. It has an IP address. Just press connect. The first thing the software does is asking for the identification of the instrument. It's a Multicomp Pro MP730027, has a serial number and a version number. And since I already told the software what command set this instrument uses, I get all of the functionality down here. So we have the reset command, we have here the identification, we have here the functionality for all of the sensing commands, we have everything that we can use for configuring the instrument, doing the calculation stuff, some system functionality, and all of the common measurement functionalities. So I just could go ahead and say, do a measurement, send this out, and I'm getting a value back. So that's quite simple here, 4.5 volt basically. I also could go and say, configure the range for the voltage, and since I told the software with the instrument set which parameters this command takes, it knows, okay, I have all of these voltage ranges here available. If, for example, I go to AC, I have a different range because then the maximum voltage is not 1000 but just 750 volts. I can also go and say current ranges, which are a bit different, so each of these has its own commands available, so you would send the correct range or values to the instrument. So when I select the command here and send it to the instrument, I do not get an answer back because it just did the configuration, but now I can measure again. I still get the same value, it's just that the resolution has changed a bit in this case. What you also can do is you can just script here, do manual commands with the instrument. You can create some scripts which allow you to repeat command tasks. You could create shortcuts and attach them to the keys, but you also can do some more complex configurations. Say you have conditions, you can create loops, you can create variables. So If you go ahead and work with that, you can actually create new user interfaces for your instrument, and you can even go and attach multiple instruments to the software, connect all of them, and create really user interfaces to drive multiple instruments with buttons, input values, output information. So this would be the right software if you want to do something like process control or real automation, where you need an easy way to create a nice user interface for whatever you want to do. I have just played around a little bit with that. Configuration for the software itself is a bit scarce in that regard, so I was not able to come up with a really complex solution for the time of this road test, but I have seen some very nice examples with more complex workflows here in some videos, and that's something where you probably can play around with it, and it's the best thing that you can do, just short of actual programming with a real programming language and talking with the instrument.